So here we are. The transmission shifting servo is installed and fully functional. So let's give you a quick demo. Put the power on. Hook up a battery I have for this purpose. Now the one thing about the Bomber that's interesting, there's no power switch. Once you plug in the battery, it's on. So you don't have to have a power switch to turn on and off. Some people may like that, some people won't. Okay, so of course, very loose, no suspension. Let me get this body over here, and let me rotate this so you can see it. Okay, so let's see if we can do this so you can see the buttons too at the same time. Anyway, hello. There we go. Locked in. Locked in. As I said, this remote, it's very easy to program the third channel. And it's a simple matter of follow the instructions, power it off, hold the top button, power it on, it blinks 5 times, and then you can set how you want it to be. I have mine set simply on and off, but you can set it as a 3-position or 4-position, or a what they call an infinite position, where it only moves when you put the button. So if you press it one way, it'll move every time you press the button, inch, 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 and that way you can have fine tuning on whatever you want to use it for. So, but yeah, that's what it looks like shifting. Let's get the wheels off the table and see if we can't get some get any wheel spin here. May not be able to. Like a rag doll flopping around. That's just because the drive shaft is binding up because it's set at such an angle. Low range, high range. Oh, help if you could see the wheels. Low range, high range. So, it's time to put the body back on. I'll do that right now. Now, best way to put the body on, fasten the body back to the chassis first, and then attach the shocks. Otherwise you're fighting the shocks getting the body on. So power that off, and be back shortly. Alright, I'm looking at the body here. I'm going to put it back on the rig, and I'm picking it up. I don't have a battery in there, but I want to tell you right now that tire puts a lot of weight in the rear end. I mean, to get it to balance out, you're going right right above where the rear sway arms come into the chassis. So you can see if I hold a midpoint, it just dives backwards. And they do give you a kit to relocate the spare tire into a different position so it's not as far back. So it's sitting here, right in back of the right in back of the cockpit, instead of over the back. But I have a feeling with a 2S LiPo or a 3S LiPo in the front, the weight of the battery, because of where it is, it's going to probably balance it out. So we're going to take a look at that and see what's going on. So basically, if you're going to do any crawling where you're going to be on steep terrain, going up and down, you got the low range transmission in there, you're probably going to want to take the spare tire off altogether, and just, you know, make sure you have the weight up in the front end. That way you don't get flip-ups when you're going up the hill. So, but as far as flat out racing, I'm sure with the battery in the front and the tire, you should notice a big difference. I'm going to grab a 3S LiPo here. I'm just going to sit it down on the nose, and then I'll pick it up again and see what we got. Yep, just as I thought. With the battery in the front, the chassis is pretty much balanced out. So again, your weight distribution is going to, you know, depend on what you want to do with the vehicle. If you want to do a lot of rock crawling, where you're on steep terrain, going up and over things, and you want to keep more weight up front, take the spare tire off. Otherwise, you can, if you move it to this other location here, in back of the right in back of the cockpit, just remember you're going to raise the center of gravity of the vehicle. Because right now, that tire is not up as high, but when you hit it up here, it'll be up a lot higher. So this is a fully glued exact spare of what's on the vehicle, and they're not light. They are a pretty hefty tire, so just something to think about. Alright, let's get the battery cable pushed back up through. Get it out of the way. Set that down on there, and those are lined up. Now stick a screw on either side just to hold it in place. I don't drop it. Okay. Let's get one on the other side now. Let's get rid of this. And both of my vehicle stands are occupied, so I had to use an Emax tire as a stand-in. So it looks like I gotta get another stand. Alright, we'll get that cranked in there. There we go. Okay, and now we'll get pick that up off the floor. Okay, that's locked in place. Let's see here. Let's put the shock back in, and then we'll repeat on the other side. Now, one thing to notice, they did not use screws to hold the shocks in. They're using pins, the threaded pins. And the extra shock mounts that are located on the vehicle, so you can put four more shocks total on the vehicle, already come with the rod ends and the rod end balls installed. So you don't have to buy anything extra. You just put your shocks in there and you're good to go. Make sure I didn't go all the way through. There we go. And we'll do this one here. Here's your shock ball end. And I'll put that in through there. Okay. Okay, shock is mounted. And do the last screw on this side. being difficult, so I'll have to take a look and see why that's not going in. The holes lined up. So this last body pin here is giving me problems. Probably should have done this one first. Alright, no, I think it caught, finally. Yep, finally caught. And like I said, 3 screws on either side of the chassis, 2 underneath, and your shock screws, and you're good to go. Make sure you don't over tighten your screws when you're putting them back on. You can strip the plastic real easy. So if you can see, right here, this is your receiver box. So if you need to change anything out of the receiver, change add anything to it, whatever, you don't have to take the whole body off to do it. You undo these two, and this just pops right out. So we're going to go ahead and attach this back up to the cage. Alright, here we go. That's done. Let's get the last one here. Here we go. Okay, so that's that. Now I just gotta attach the other 2 shocks. The front one here. And the ball came out. Yeah, nothing more fun than watching some guy turn a wrench. You can fast forward, or I might not even put it on. And if I do, you know, you can listen to me blabber. Alright. Now on the other side we had a problem with that screw, so let's do that one before we do the rear shock and the other bottom screw. There we go. You know, as I'm looking at this more and more closely, I can see that they didn't use screws like on the Wraith or the SCX10 for any of the swing arms. They used the threaded pins, which I don't know, might be easier. It definitely gives it a much cleaner look. You know, instead of having screw heads looking out all over the place. The only place you see the screw heads are in the cage itself. So that's tightened down. That's good. I think this one was already tight, but let's give it another. Let's give it a. Yep, that's pretty tight. Alright, so the last shock to mount up. There we go with the ball. Put that in there. And let's get that ready to go. Set her down and let the weight push it up. Come on, stay in place. Okay, that's it. Last screw is in. The RR10 looks like it's ready to be powered up. Taken for a ride. So let me grab a battery. And we'll get it put in. And see if I have one that will fit it.